Hello and welcome to another content conversation. Today, I'm really excited to share Kara Iaconis with you all. Hi, Kara.
Hi, Anne. How are you?
Kara is with the. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk about BBC content. You guys
Me
have a
too.
lot of it.
Me too. You do have a lot. You all have about
We have a
3,000
lot.
hours, don't you? Something like that.
You know, it's funny you say that because I was just thinking of that. Whenever I hear a big number, I was like, okay, 3,000 hours. And then I was working the math backwards. I'm like, you could watch BBC content for 125 days straight.
And you would
On
never
our
get
site.
bored. And you would never get
And
bored.
you would never get bored, that is for sure. So Kara is the global head of learning at BBC Studios. So she has a pretty big job representing so much amazing content on a global scale. And so we're really excited to have you here today with us, Kara, to talk about all of the different things that we have, as well as some of the things that are coming up. So for those of you that are just kind of joining us here, I just want to make a couple small notes. Shoot us your comments and questions. We'd love to hear from you and answer any questions that you might have or comments. We'll be putting some links in the comment section too of different series that we'll be talking about so that you can click on them and view them. So make sure you stay active with us. Okay, so Kara, let's get started a little bit. Tell us about you and your role at the BBC.
Sure. So I'm the global head of learning, which basically means I'm charged with getting the amazing content that the BBC Studios creates and BBC News, and there's other divisions of the BBC that we'll get into later, called Bitesize and Teach, which are education providers in the UK. I'm charged with getting all of this content into our partners' hands via licensing agreements or partnerships. And it's a really cool job. I've been at the BBC now about 5 years. And we've been creating really unique partnerships in both the US and globally around either augmenting existing digital products or filling great content providers' databases with more and more great stuff. And as you know, Infobase is one of the leading, I think, containers of our great stuff, and you guys do a great job getting it into the hands of K12 and higher education. So we really love our partnership with you guys.
Yeah, so do we. There's so many great series that we're going to be talking about. Some of the things that Kara is talking about with Infobase, we provide BBC content on our video streaming services for K12, for college and academic, as well as in the public library space. So there's definitely a big array. Kara's mentioning Teach and Bitesize, which are really curriculum, but as we move through these different markets, there's just so much great stuff. Call the Midwife is coming to public library, so I'm really excited about that one.
Right.
So what has been one of the most interesting aspects of working with the BBC and the content that is being produced?
Well, I think for me, I spent the beginning of my career at Scholastic, which is a major US curriculum provider, and they do some international, but I was mostly focused on the US. So for me, coming to the BBC was great in that we had to create partnerships around the globe, and sort of learning what's going on in Slovak Republic, Germany, everywhere, UK. China, where they are in their content development and where they are in their distribution tactics and how they bring education to life in their territories was really unique to learn about for me. We all struggle with the same things, keeping kids engaged, keeping kids at the forefront of learning. We all struggle the same way across the globe to make content accessible and provide equity and learning for everyone, so that all kids can find access to great stuff. So it's just, how do you solve the problems, that we're all faced? And, again, the problems are the same. We struggle the same way, but when you hear about it from different perspectives, you learn a lot. And in the 5 years, I feel like I've been here 10, because it's been so much learning in that much time, so I love that. And that's been really good for us.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think I can definitely say with the content that comes through from the BBC, and for those of you that are joining, if you've only thought of BBC as news and that type of content, there's just so much more. So that's what we want to share with you today. The commitment to the educational space. When you said engaging, it reminded me of one of my favorite series. It's called Horrible Histories, and it's just such a fun series. They take really current songs and turn them into a song from someone in the past. So one of my favorite ones is the old I Came in Like a Wrecking Ball, by Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
And there's this Celtic Queen, and it changed the words to Wreck 'em All, and it's so fun and engaging, and I think it gets all of our attentions when you see that kind of approach to content. So whether it's something that might be lighthearted and trying to teach kids in just a fun way, or something so maybe like a literary classics like Pride and Prejudice or Emma, Great Expectations, the gamut of what's being produced is so much. So one of the series that we really wanted to talk about today has some really, really big names attached to it. And that's the My World series. So can you tell us a little bit about how this idea came about and how it got started?
Okay, great. We love talking about My World. It took a bit to get off the ground. So My World is a media literacy program geared toward kids ages 11 to 14. And the star power behind it that you're referencing is Angelina Jolie. I think a lot of people know that she is a worldwide issues activist for, kids. And she wanted to create a series with the BBC. So we have counterparts. I'm in the studios part of BBC, and then there's also the news team and the World Service team. So anyway, the partnership with Angelina Jolie was around My World and the World Service team, and they came to us to create the educational materials that went with the My World program. We wanted to make sure that not only were we giving kids information about what's going on in the world around them from a global news perspective, or a factual entertainment show, we wanted to also tell them what it was like to be a smart reviewer of news, and how do you respond to what you see in the news? How do you know if what you're seeing in the news is real or fake? This was an important aspect that we wanted to challenge for the education portion of the show. So the show, ended up being about 10 episodes of My World that were like 30 minutes in length. And part one, and also to augment that, we did 10 My World media literacy segments that were about 50 minutes in length in terms of instruction. And it was aligned to media literacy standards, ed tech standards, and reading and language arts standards in the US. And they had a video segment that went with it to help give kids some background knowledge about what they're learning in each of these 10 lessons. They are hosted on your platform at this point, and a number of other platforms, just so we can get it out there. And it's really been well received by educators and parents alike. We also took part two to that, is that we're taking the My World 30-minute show, which tackles other things beyond media literacy, right? So global warming, kids activism, lots of great little nugget of content. And what we're doing is we're taking each one of those segments and we're creating a teachable moment, a tie to it, so that the teacher can like segment through, or the chapters of the show now, when this comes available in November, and have instruction that goes with, and it will be aligned to standards, and it'll just be a nice way to inject reality of what's going on in the world around us into traditional learning and everyday learning, so that we really get kids engaged and sort of thinking critically about what's going on in the world around them. And that's definitely part of the BBC mission, right? Obviously, to inform and educate and then also entertain. So we try to make it the right blend of those three. And I think it did a great job of that. And we hope for us to be able to do more of this. So right now, I mean, in the end, we'll have at least 50, 60 segments that are each ranging in 5 minutes long, 5 to 8 minutes long, when we break up those 30-minute shows and align them to instruction. So we'll have all this instruction also that goes with, and we're really proud of it. And we can't wait to get it on Infobase's platform and beyond that. So that's my world.
We're really excited about it. And we have some of the resources available now, as Kara was mentioning, and we're excited to get the ones that are coming up. And, you know, the topic is just such an important one. And especially in the world today, where many of our students are learning remotely, you know, teachers might not have, you know, a breakout of time to talk about this as a lesson or how to integrate it in the curriculum. So I love that you created those segments, those short segments where maybe it's just going to be 2 or 3 minutes to just talk about something, and it can be incorporated in an existing curriculum. And that's something we're hearing from a lot of teachers. It's hard to make time for some of these other topics that aren't, you know, direct curriculum. So the fact that you guys are so mindful of how teachers use content and the support resources they need is just one of the many, many reasons why we and all of our users love BBC content. You know, in addition to that, I think when we're talking about the My World content, very, very timely. A lot of us could use it. And I think I've said this to you before, you know, we as teachers, as educators, we can't teach what we don't know. And so those educator resources can be very helpful when we're maybe approaching some of these maybe newer topics or topics that are seem to be ever changing and wanting to stay ahead of those terms. So we are excited. So we hope all the teachers that are watching this, media literacy and, you know, identifying fake news, and these are all skills that our young people need to learn. And so we hope you will check out this series again and just search for My World, and you'll come to it, and just know that there's more on the way, which is a really, really exciting part of it as well. So BBC, talk about inspiring. You said that, you know, you want to educate, inspire, and entertain. Talk about inspiring. The BBC puts on a showcase every year, and this is such an amazing event. And I only bring this up because it's so inspiring to me. I'm so thankful to be able to attend. And just short kind of synopsis of it is it's a few days in Liverpool where the BBC showcases their content, new content, what's coming up, and then they have some really great events and some guests there to speak about the content. Last year, you had Doctor Who, the woman from Doctor Who as a presenter. Why is it important for the BBC to be able to showcase this content on such a global scale?
Yeah, good question. I mean, showcase has been going on for years. I'm not fully sure how many years, but it's a great opportunity for us to bring all of the distributors of our content, not just obviously education, but the more traditional linear channels and the digital channels together each year to see what we have coming out. I think the BBC produces something like 2,500 hours each year of new content. And it's important for us to show that content to the folks who are our channels into the world, distributors, and get feedback from them. A lot of the stuff is really on its way to being developed and released, and TX'd, we call that's transmitted via their channels. But I think it's a great opportunity to sort of see what reaction we're going to get from the show, and to sort of understand, you know, the excitement level. So, you know, and if you recall, we not only do we do like big stage events where we bring out, if we have a big new natural history show coming out, natural history, we're known for Planet Earth, Blue Planet, Frozen Planet, dynasties, or if you're British, you say dynasties. So we have all these great shows that come out, and we do these big stage events that show, you know, the main executive producers, and it's really kind of cool. But we also give everybody who attends the opportunity to go sit in a booth and, you know, watch some of the episodes and sort of get acquainted with the content and see whether or not, you know, it will appeal to their end users. And we just, you know, we love the event. It's a great tradition. Obviously this year, because of coronavirus, we won't be having an in-person event, which saddens us all, but they'll still do a virtual one for our customers. And we hope next year it'll be back in Liverpool and giving us all a reason to get together again.
Well, it's such an amazing event. I know I always leave there going, oh my gosh, I think I should have been a scientist, or I think I should have been a historian, because I think of kids, you know, or young people, you know, sometimes just seeing these amazing, like the natural histories, like you said, like Planet Earth or dynasties. I know one of my favorites is the Battle of the Exoplanets. I never considered myself interested really in outer space or science, but seeing it on this massive screen and just the way that, you know, the content's narrated. I mean, I don't know that the BBC just has such an amazing production quality that inspires so many young people. We did a case study on one of our users, and it was a teacher that talked about just, you know, she had a student and she's trying to just get that student interested in something, right? To get them motivated to learn. And they gave them access to one of our streaming services in the K12 market called Learn 360. And the student found himself interested in marine biology and just kept searching. And she said they watched every program that we had take to marine biology. And, you know, it's those connections sometimes that can transform a young person's life and the trajectory of what they even think that is possible for their career or what they want to do. And I think the BBC is just a perfect example of, I mean, inspiring so many people to explore our planet.
Well, kids definitely, just to add to that, kids definitely are so in tune now to global climate change issues. And, you know, marine biology obviously is, you know, part of that movement. And I don't speak to one kid or educator that doesn't think that that is one of the things that they want to know more about. And us being so attached to those types of series, which are all about what's going on in our ecosystems, is really, I think, something that we take a great pride in. And, you know, we're helping to continually inform on dramatic change, as we all know, over the last 10 years. So I think we're proud that we'll continue to be part of reporting on what that's all about and where that's netting out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. To just switch gears a little bit and talking about K12, we talked about some of these big, I know the land, excuse me, BBC refers to them as their landmark productions: Planet Earth, Planet, Frozen Planet, Dynasties. Oh gosh, there's so many. But there's a lot of really core, what we refer to as core curriculum content as well. Nina and the Neurons, engineering, or Nina and the Neurons, there's engineering, there's many different kind of sub-series, and then the Bitesize and Teach, which are very curriculum, teaching grammar, math, literary concepts, and really the gamut of the subject matters. So I want to bring that up because I know in talking with teachers, sometimes we relate BBC to what we might know in our kind of maybe everyday life of news. And so there's just so much curriculum content. Now that's something that is created now for British schools. I mean, obviously these are very general topics. You know, could you speak to that kind of content for a moment?
Sure. So everybody, most of the content that we're known for and that I distribute globally is contextual, what we call contextual, right? You see it, it helps provide some sort of take the kid to another place, another time, either another place in time or current day, for reporting on something, but not directly instructional. However, the BBC, part of the BBC public service portion of the BBC in the UK runs a huge entity called BBC Bitesize and BBC Teach. I think the global umbrella, or the UK umbrella name, is BBC Education. So they are charged with creating free content for UK citizens, and it's instructional. Either helping kids pass their, what we here in the States are like PSATs, that kind of stuff, prepping them for those standards that are taught on those, is their main focus. The kids can watch it at home. Parents can, educators, you direct it at educators to help them teach certain standards that the kids have to grasp. They have tons of content in coding, like you said, science experiments, runs the gamut, to be honest. All math, instruction, basic grammar, etc. Again, all geared toward UK standards, but we are able to take the videos and not necessarily the instruction that goes with, but we take the videos that they create for the UK and we pluck them out and we align them to wherever whatever territory the content will eventually be distributed into. We allow them to create the instruction that will go with the content. So endless supply, because they make it they've been making it for years. A lot of the science stuff and math stuff sometimes needs to be updated, but it's timeless. A lot of it's timeless. And we constantly get new. So it's really cool to have that interconnectivity to them, because we see what they're going to make in the year, and then we are able to inform folks like you all, and folks around the globe about what's coming. And that's part of our plan, right? To continue to distribute this stuff and keep kids engaged via visuals, and audio too. Audio is becoming very useful for kids learning, like mini podcasts, right? So that's all happening as well. And again, there's an entity of folks who are steeped in education making this stuff. So we are, we're very confident of the authenticity of it all, and we're just proud of it. And people don't know that we have this. People don't know that BBC does this in the UK, but
Right.
they do.
In fact, at one point, I think I was connecting and I pinged on something to try to watch it, and it's territorial blocked in the US. So the fact that we can offer it on our services is great, because I'm glad you brought up coding too, because I was thinking of some of the other core curriculum subject areas, but I know there's this really great coding and computer science. I mean, it's, like you said, very current, always being produced, and just such a well thought out curriculum as well. We know that does well with our teachers when they can find a series, and here's a grammar series and it has 40 programs or 40 segments. So they know that it's going to be there the whole year and supporting them. And so it's just such a great collection of content as well.
Great.
We're getting kind of close to the end here. So maybe I'll ask just some lighter questions. If you are just joining us again, I have Kara Iaconis here from the BBC, who is sharing with us all of the great work that the BBC is doing. We're talking about some of the content that we have available on our Infobase streaming services. For those of you that are our customers, log in. I hope you can search for these the series and the content we're talking about. If you're not, go to our site, infobase.com, sign up for a free access for your school, and give it a look. So Kara, I know this is kind of like asking your favorite child, so I won't ask you what your favorite series is, but what's one or two that that's really caught your eye, that you really love, that the BBC has produced?
Oh my gosh. Well, can we just go to
Fill the spot.
the non-educational ones? So
Yes, let's
Top
do it.
Gear, and you and I met the the new two stars from Top Gear. Now I don't, I don't know that a lot of this is available on Infobase because it's the funny, crazy guys doing stunts, but I love that. I also love that the Doctor Who series with, of course, Jodie Whittaker, which is, I think she was the 13th Doctor. Anybody, if you're following Doctor Who, kind of a science, what is it, science fiction, you know, funness stuff.
Yeah,
It's a genre that's not popping into my head as a name, but obviously the first female Doctor Who came into the series when I was at the BBC, so that was really cool because it had always been a guy. And then we kind of went ahead and created the Doctor Who coding kit, which I'll do a shameless plug with Jodie as the star, and she's going to help kids learn how to code for the Internet of Things with our little consumer education product.
That's great.
So I love the Doctor Who series, and I love Top Gear.
Yeah, well, that was a good sneak peek. That's not quite available, right?
No, November, but coming soon. You'll start to see some, you know, ads for it. So we're excited about it.
I'm excited for that. I mean, coding is so popular. And what a great way to combine something that, you know, maybe our young people are interested in with a way to learn coding. So that's really, really cool. I know you've spearheaded so many wonderful collaborations with content and education. So they are so lucky to have you. Your you know, extensive history in education, obviously, is just shining through with all of the great work you're doing. We're so appreciative of all of the things that you've done. And I know you personally just pointed out so many great opportunities for Infobase and how we can expand what we're doing with the BBC. So I just have to say a huge, huge thank you to you, Kara.
I love it. I love working with you too. So let's keep it going and keep coming up with great ideas for the community of educators and see if we can help them out. Their job is hard enough as it is.
Exactly. No, that's a very, very good point, and something, you know, we definitely take seriously, and I know you do as well, is, you know, our teachers right now and our students and our parents, all of us are really, really working hard to make sure our young people are learning through this all, and engaging them with this wonderful content is sometimes is an easier opportunity than others.
Right.
So we're excited to offer this, and we can't wait to continue offering more content from the BBC. I know we've talked a lot about education. I'll just say quickly too, our public libraries. Kara has been fantastic and got us, I mentioned this earlier, but a couple new seasons of called the Midwife series. So that's one of my personal favorites of BBC. So we have a lot of really, really exciting content. So for our users, log in, check out BBC content today. If you have any questions or comments, let us know. We'd love to answer them. I'm going to pop over here quick, Karen, and see if we have any that have come up now. I know this is like the middle of the day for many of our teachers, so we might hear from them later. I will make an effort right now after this to put some links into the bottom or below our video here. So if you've heard some of the series and wanting to check them out, you can click on that link, enter your username and password, and you'll be passed through. Otherwise, like I said, go to infobase.com and get an access for your school to check out this and this over 3,000 other hours that we have of BBC content. So so that being said, I'll say again, Kara, thank you.
Thank you for
and
having me.
Definitely. All right, we'll talk soon then. Take care.
Okay, bye all.
Bye-bye.